So what do you think the 4 best attractions are on the Las Vegas Strip?
Come get lost with us today while we find out.
In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
This month we're celebrating all those amazing people around the world who are helping others. And today we're going to be celebrating
JDRF, which stands for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. They are one of the first organizations that started research into type 1 diabetes and trying to find a cure. They also do a lot of work in local communities, providing insulin for those who don't have access, as well as insulin pumps and insulin pump supplies. So they're a pretty cool organization if you're looking for some way to get involved and help somebody who might actually have a disease like myself, type 1 diabetes.
So check out the links below. You can learn more about the organization, and there's also a link so you can donate right directly to that organization. So let's get back to that video. So if you're anywhere near the Link Promenade, that's where we're going to start our list of attractions by the Strip.
Yeah, so this is definitely something you can see for miles and miles and miles.
Especially if you're in denial.
Which I usually am when it comes to heights. So this is the Highroller here in Las Vegas. So there is a couple other cities in the United States that have something like this. Orlando for one. I think Atlanta has like a Ferris wheel type of thing. Surprisingly, they had one in South Carolina too for the fair.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely on the uptick. These are not your typical Ferris wheel, those from, if you think about like a carnival Ferris wheel. It's not like that. It's more like an encased bubble that you're in that's super comfortable. And if you want to, a little legit tip is that you can get the free drink one. Well, I mean, it's not technically free.
It's an upgrade.
You pay an upgrade fee and you can have as many drinks as you want the entire trip.
For your entire trip around the bubble.
And the trip only takes about 5 to 10 minutes, so it's not like super long, but it is a excellent experience inside that bubble. There's seating inside of it, so if it's not that packed, there are places to sit.
It is temperature controlled.
Temperature controlled, as well as there's plenty of views too. So it's like a 360 view. Except for the floor.
Yeah, but I'm glad you can't see through the floor, because the bubble is enough for me to feel like I'm in a glass case of emotions.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. If you're afraid of heights, this may not be the right one for you.
Yeah.
It does go up pretty high, but if you're afraid of heights and can take it for a little bit, it's still worth it to me, because you get to see some amazing views. And one of the things that's not talked about that much about Vegas is not just the Strip is really amazing at night with all the lights, the actual surrounding mountains and stuff are beautiful. And this gives you the opportunity to see both of those. You get to see Caesar's Palace, but you also get to see the beautiful like mountains, Mount Charleston and stuff in the distance.
Agreed, yeah. You can see, kind of like when you go to the top of the Strat too, you can see for miles and miles, and you kind of get up over that Strip and you can just kind of see out, and you just kind of walk around your bubble and you just kind of take it all in. And honestly, there's handrails too. Like, I held on to everything that I could. And you're not moving very fast. Like, you don't feel the motion of you moving. You just kind of look around and realize, oh, I'm higher now than I was 10 seconds ago. So it's definitely a little bit of a mind trickery in that sense. And I am terrified of heights. I still can get through them, but it definitely scares me a little. And I was just kind of like grabbing on and moving around. But I did move around the cabin, so I could get some cool shots.
And I think it's worth it too, because even if you're afraid of heights, once you do it the first time, it's a little bit easier to do. Like Nacy says, you don't really feel the going up. You just kind of see it. So it's a really nice experience, and you get to see the whole Strip, especially if you're only going to be here for a short period of time and not going to get to venture off the Strip. This is an opportunity to be able to see that without going anywhere but the Link Promenade, which you're probably going to be hitting up because there's, the Flamingo and stuff is down there.
Yep.
And definitely some classic Vegas pieces that you'll definitely want to see while you're down there.
And one of the legit tips that I can tell you that will definitely be included with all of these attractions that we're going to talk about is to get the Go City Pass. And if you guys don't know what the Go City Pass is, definitely make sure you check out our video where we did 7 attractions on the Go City Pass. It's a great way for you to kind of get out into Las Vegas and do the things that you want to do, but save some money too. And hashtag, this is definitely not sponsored. This is just a trick and tip that we figured out on our own.
Yeah, in the Go City Pass, you can either do it by the day, which means all the rides you want in so many days, or you can do it per attraction. So if you're only going to do a couple attractions, you can do it different ways. So it is definitely a recommend on top of just the amazing Highroller.
So let's move on to our next top attraction in Las Vegas.
Number 2. So number 2 is the Marvel Station.
Yeah, if you are a Marvel fan of any caliber, even if you've just only seen a few movies, this place is definitely worth a check out. There's so many cool things to see, even if you know nothing about Marvel.
Yeah, a run recommendation with this is, though, try not to pay full price. There's a bunch of different ways. Check out that Go City Pass like we talked about. Or also, if you're staying in some of the hotels, they give you discounts to some of these things. You definitely don't want to pay that full $45, $65 price tag to go in here, but it is worth it if you can get it on a cheaper rate, because there's about 3 or 4 rooms just filled with props. Especially if you're like an Iron Man fan, they have all of the Iron Man armors, tons of Captain America stuff, tons of Hulk stuff. Super, super cool, just sort of the different pieces from the movies that you get to see.
And some of the pieces are interactive. So there's areas that you get to interact with what's going on around you. And at the very end, they do have this game, which I will say was not the greatest game compared to some of the other attractions that we've done, but it was a game that you could play with just the other people that were in your group. And you got to try to like fight off bad guys as an adventure.
Yeah, that was probably a little bit disappointing, which is why it's not higher, I think, on our list of must-do attractions in Vegas. But it was definitely cool just seeing the props. Like if you focus on the props and some of the pictures that you can get there, really, really cool. There's a really cool thing where you can actually control like the Hulk, and like he does sort of different actions that turn off the lights, or like you can turn on the Tesseract, or even in one scene you get to almost step on little ants for Ant-Man. They move out of your way and kind of show you the way to walk. So there's really some really cool interactive pieces that sort of flow with the movement. But again, not very big.
No, and I think this attraction's only been open for a little bit of time. I don't think it's been in Las Vegas for a very long amount of time, but they literally take you kind of through every major Avenger, like Gary said. So you start off with Captain America, then you move on to the Hulk, and then there's Thor in there, and Vision's in there.
Yeah, they have the Vision Chamber. It's kind of all the way up to, I would say, like the in-game series. Like that's kind of where it stops, is those movie series. But you'll see like props and things like Vision's little tomb where he was created. Captain America's shield is of course there. Some of the really cool sort of pieces that you wouldn't think. And again, like Hulkbuster armor, there's a replica Hulkbuster armor there, and a replica like Mark 1 through like Mark, I think 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool just seeing some of those props. Now, it's not as cool as one of the ones we'll talk about later on this list, just because it has a little bit of a lackluster end to it. The game that you play is really just played on kind of like a cell phone, and you like flick the cell phone, which ends up throwing items on the screen. That to me was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
But the actual immersive experience and stuff is totally worth it.
Now, you're going to want to chisel out about an hour and a half for this attraction. It's not a very long attraction, but about an hour and a half should get you from beginning to end without feeling too rushed or going too slow.
And note that when you get there, they actually let you go in groups, so you'll be assigned to a group at a different time. So you'll want to get there a little bit early, because sometimes you have to wait 15 to 20 minutes before they'll even let you in the thing, because they only let small groups in at a time to sort of keep it spaced out.
Agreed. But overall, this was definitely a really cool attraction. Like Gary mentioned earlier, it's under the Go City Pass, so if you're looking for a way to kind of see it for a little less money, definitely check that out. And if you want to see the full experience of what we did, make sure you guys check out our video where we checked it out ourselves.
Yeah, in full detail. So let's see what number 3 is.
I volunteer as tribute.
So number 3 is very similar to number 2. It's the Hunger Games experience.
Which, honestly, I don't know if I just liked it more because I enjoyed the Hunger Game movies a little bit more. I don't know. I think the layout of this was a lot better, and in terms of the interactiveness, it was a little bit better than the Marvel.
Yeah, so in this one, unlike the Marvel, the end stuff is really cool, and we'll talk about that in a second. But even the interactive stuff, like you can create like a propaganda ad and stuff like that there, which actually uses your picture, interlays it with some footage from the movies and stuff, and then makes this whole kind of collage.
And they have so many costumes from the movies. So many costumes. And when you first walk in, you get to take the train into the Capitol, which was kind of cool.
Yep.
That was a cool experience that I wasn't expecting. And then they quiz you on some Hunger Games trivia, which was pretty neat. And then again, the props and the rooms were just so cool.
Yeah, I think they did a better job of interlacing like participant involved things with the stuff. Like I feel like Marvel had a little bit better on the stuff because they had a larger selection of like props from the movies. But Hunger Games did a better job of actually giving you something to do. Like the train ride was super cool because the pictures like move and you get a little gust of wind like you're actually on a train before you even get there, which you don't really get with the Marvel experience.
And we got a cool like souvenir tag
which
for
is awesome.
being there, which we didn't get from Marvel. We really actually didn't walk away with anything at Marvel.
Yeah, and the actual like souvenirs or merchandise at the end of the Hunger Games one was actually nice and purchasable, whereas Marvel didn't have anything. And 2, you get to go through like the forest area as well.
Yeah, there was just like so much interactiveness in this museum, so to speak, that I would prefer to go there over the Marvel one if somebody asked me.
And then I think the best part about it is the last part is a game that you get to play. And now you can play it again for I think like $15 or $20. You can play it again. But you actually have a bow and arrow and you shoot it at what the Guinness World Record for the largest like interactive screen. And you literally just shoot these targets with a bow and arrow. And the ends are like tennis balls basically and they hit the screen. But it is so much fun.
Yeah, and it's actually hard.
It is a little difficult, but it is just so much fun.
And it requires a little bit of skill too.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of trying to teach you. Now, granted, they threw us in with the group that went in front of us, so we didn't have to wait. So we kind of missed the practice run.
Yeah, and the explanation stage, yes.
So we did it with just kind of with the quick and dirty version of how to do it, and we absolutely loved it.
Yeah, this is definitely a recommendation if you have kids. Again, I know we don't really recommend bringing kids to Vegas, but if you do bring them with you and you're looking for something to do, this is a really, really good experience, especially for probably like a little bit older, like probably the area of 6 and above. It's really kind of cool being able to shoot those arrows at that big screen.
Now, I will say this one took a little less time than the Marvel Avengers Station. I think we got in and out in about an hour, just because, like Gary said, there's a little less prop, there's a little less rooms to go through, but still, about an hour from front to back.
Yeah, and I think unlike the Marvel situation, they have a lot of setup spaces, like they have like Snoke, or not Snoke. Snow's, I'm sorry, Snoke is Star Wars. Snow's desk, like they have those like setup areas where you can get some nice pictures and stuff too, which Marvel didn't really have. So it kind of gives you that interactive piece where you're like sitting at his desk or you're like moving to the Capitol on the train. So you've got a lot of engaging stuff, but also a nice little like Instagram pieces and like picture pieces as well.
So let's figure out what is our 4th top attraction for Las Vegas gonna be.
Yeah,
what do you think it's going to be?
Let us know.
Have you ever been to Epcot? And if you have you ever rode Soarin'? Because if you have, we now have a Soarin' ride in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's called Flyover Las Vegas, and there's 2 different tracks you can take. You can take like a West Coast track, or you can take an across the globe track. Which
was pretty cool. And I will say, this is almost an exact replica of Soarin', except different scenes, and the room that you're in is a lot smaller, but it is the same mechanism and the same ride as Soarin'. So you kind of sit in your seats, you buckle up your seatbelt, and they bring you up, and you have this huge screen in front of you, and you fly, and they play sounds and smells, and you kind of get to experience like you were there. Now, granted, I do think the actual ride time is a little bit longer than the Soarin' ride. I think the actual ride time ended up being somewhere around 10 minutes.
Yeah, the whole experience takes about 30 to 35 minutes because you do have a pre-show that goes through the pieces and then you actually get to the ride. And like Nacy said, it is exactly like Soarin' except for one big difference. It's only one row. So for those who have rode on Soarin' and smelled other people's feet, you don't get that opportunity here. So if you miss that, you might want to head over to Disneyland because they do have that over there. But if you can do it without having to sniff people's feet, this is definitely an opportunity for you. There's no obstructions to the screen. So unlike in the Soarin' at Disney, you sometimes get that curved if you're too far to the right or the left. This doesn't have that because you're all in the center. So you're kind of like perfectly in the center for the entire screen.
Agreed. It is a little pricey, but again, this attraction is in this Go City Pass, so you can get it for a discount. And they also do give you a discount if you are a Vegas resident. They give you a discount if you buy more than one. So if you want to do both shows, they do give you a little bit of a discount. And I think they have a few other packages, like they have a bar package where you can go and have a drink before your ride, and they give you a little bit of a discount. So they have a couple of different options. So don't just go in there and pay full price. Definitely look on Groupon, look for the Go City Pass, or look to see if your hotel might be offering any discounts.
Yeah, and she kind of breezed over it, but there is a bar in there too. So if you're kind of late at night or later in the evening and you want to go sit down at a nice little cocktail area, there is a nice little bar in there where you can sit down and drink, either waiting for the ride or after the ride. So a nice little place to relax. And one of the nice things, it is directly off the strip. So know that you literally walk from the strip right into it. So it's a nice little cool area if you're getting overheated, because sometimes in those hotter months it gets warm there. This is a nice place to escape that heat, sit down, have a nice relaxing ride, and you take about 35-40 minutes.
And it's like right next to, between like the World of Coke store and the M&M store. So if you're thinking of like where you're looking at on the strip, it's kind of right in the middle, and it could be hard to miss if you're not looking for it. But if you look up, it says Flyover, and then you just kind of walk through those doors and then you're there.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that World of Coke or M&M store. We have walkthroughs of both of those on this channel.
Yeah, and if you guys are curious to see what our experience was when we did Flyover, make sure you guys check out that video. Another good thing to know too is if you have bags with you, or maybe you have a stroller, or maybe you brought kids with you, because it's Vegas, people still bring their kids. They have lockers, and the lockers are free.
Now, I don't think you can store the kids in the lockers, but you could ask them.
But yeah, they do have lockers for you to store your stuff, so that way you don't have to deal with like, you know, where am I gonna fit it kind of a thing, because they do want you to use those baskets, unlike Disney where they let you put it under your seat. Here, they definitely want you to shove as much as you can in those baskets, and that kind of had me thinking the next time I go, probably utilize the locker system, because it's just easier than me having to shove all my stuff underneath the thing.
And one of the nice things too about this attraction is there's some nice souvenirs at the end too. So some of them, like the Hunger Games and Marvel, had a little bit less on the souvenirs. Marvel specifically had almost nothing. This had a lot of opportunities to get not only Las Vegas stuff, but a lot of cool Flyover stuff.
Exactly. And we actually picked up some postcards that we would love to send people if they join our Patreon.
Yeah, so check that out below, and we'll put the link to our Patreon down there.
So those were our top attractions down on the Las Vegas Strip, which there's a lot to choose from, and we know like it can be a little overwhelming about like, okay, well, what's going to be worth the money and what's not, but I can guarantee you that these four definitely worth the money and the time to check out. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other attraction videos, and let us know in those comments, where should we go next, or what haven't we seen that you guys really love. Agreed. And again, all of these attractions that we covered are covered under the Go City Pass. So if you're looking for something a little more all-encompassing, make sure you guys check out the Go City Pass, because you can get a good deal on it. For sure. So don't forget to like this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And ring that notification bell so you get notified when we do at least 3 videos a week. And we are going to come get you tomorrow, because it's a legit holiday. Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth? So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Don't forget to check below for those organization links that we're highlighting each day this month of our legit holiday. It's got the donation link and to find out more information. So don't forget to like this video. Hit that subscribe button. And ring the notification bell so you get notified when we do at least 3 videos a week. And we'll come get you guys in the next one. Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth?